Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to show you the processing on my new track with that girl called Still Breathing, out on Pure Trance now. First, it obviously has to be said that I'm privileged to work with somebody like Tanya, who is a really good vocalist, so obviously her vocals needs a bit less processing than others would. Regardless, there's still a fair bit that needs to be done. Doesn't matter how good the vocalist is, there's little things that you have to go into and manually do. So we'll jump into Cubase. I'll show you what I do. Obviously this isn't gospel, everybody has their own process, but I really do think this will help a lot of producers, because it seems that a lot of, especially in EDM and trance genres, the producers are really good and they make exceptional instrumental tracks, but they don't really take the time to actually work on vocal. They basically get the track, they put it in, do a bit of EQing, add some reverbs, delays, and there you go. I've been working with professional vocals for pretty much 20 years, and I've done a lot of mixing mastering on pop tracks, so I kind of have a good understanding of how to make the vocal the hero of a track. Anyway, without further ado, let's go into Cubase. Okay, so here we go, we're in Cubase. So first I export all my tracks to stems and then import it into a new project, and then I'll start working on the vocal track. Basically because I'm happy with instrumental. I don't want to change anything there. I just want to concentrate on the vocal here. First things first, basically on all my channels, I have this plugin by TB Pro Audio called MV Meter 2, which is a very nice VU reference meter. So basically, if I take off all my plugins, I like making sure that basically my input isn't clipping. So I probably need to enable that. Right. So there you can see I'm going over 0. Sometimes I'll push it closer to 0, but this is basically just making sure that it's in the sweet spot. But actually notice, if you like throw pretty much any sample from a sample pack, commercial sample pack, into your DAW and you put this on, you'll actually notice it'll be way over, which means it's too loud, and the sound you're getting is not the bass sound. It will actually distort, it will flatten things out. And if you go into certain plugins, it'll just sound worse. So just get this, make sure that you're around about 0 VU. Obviously this doesn't work on all material, like on bass lines it might have to be less, but at least you have a bit more of a visual indication of where your sound is sitting, and this helps so much for gain reduction. Okay, so first up what I do is I smooth out the vocal by doing some manual clip gain. And the way you do this in Cubase is to right click and use the draw mode, and you just put in the points and drag what you want to do. So as you can see there, it actually visually shows you the volume going up and down, which is very handy. So first of all, you can do this in other DAWs with a pre-gain. Do not use the channel volume, because you want this before any other plugins actually gets to do anything. So basically you want this before it hits your compressors. So yeah, use pre-gain. And I also use this to work on things like S's. So yeah, that was too loud. So I take that down, and then sounds like I, which has like a quick attack, I just lower that as well. It's a lengthy process, and it, it's going to take some time, but it's so worth doing it. Yes, you do get like specific plugins like Waves Vocal Rider that does this automatically, but it really does not do a good job according to me anyway. Take your time to do this. A vocalist took a lot of time to record vocals and write the lyrics and the melodies, so take some time to work on the vocals as well. Okay, so my thought process when working on vocals, or any sound for that matter, is basically first clean it up, then add character, and then I'll add dynamics. So first let's clean it up by using, it's got a low cut here, channel, around about 200, which is quite high. But obviously there's a lot of bass in this track, and that needs to stand out. So this helps for a vocal to sit on top of that. Now for the EQ. So basically what this is doing is this is taking care of resonant peaks. Let me show you. Let's just loop a section here. Dim is the light. It's fading more and more. Dim is the light. So I'm just going to solo some of these frequencies so that you can hear wire to come out. More and more. Dim is the light. See that kind of low resonance. Don't want that, don't need that. That very harsh and muddies up the track. This kind of adds like a soup of white noise to the rest of the track, so getting rid of that. This same, and then this. That's basically another de-esser. So the reason I do this in sections is basically because you don't want things to overreact. So that's why I'll use two EQs, two compressors, so that one helps the other one and doesn't have to react as harshly as like when you're just using one. A quick note about de-essing. Yes, it's a very harsh sound, but you want to not overdo it. You don't want to give the vocalist a lisp, and you don't want them to sing about having one eye instead of eyes. So yeah, please have a look at it, because I've heard way too many tracks where this happens, and I've heard a lot of vocalists complain about this and they don't know how to bring it up to the producers. So yes, like I said, although it's a very, very annoying sound to work with, don't overdo it. And by doing this in like little steps and little sections, it'll really help a lot. On to soothe. This is again to remove some resonant frequencies. If I put it into delta mode, it's going to play just what it's taking out. I see that very resonant frequency around about what, 460. It's taking that out. So onto the de-esser. I love this Vice DS. It's so good. And I've tried so many. The Fab Filter one is pretty good. The Waves one is pretty not good. And then what's the other one? Oh, the SSL one. Oh, that's a pretty good one as well. But this is just my favorite. You know, it just sounds good. Oh, the one by Slate is really good as well. I actually have it in my chain later on. Here you go. So in this area, you can see that it's just ducking a few dBs from that S, like 5 dBs. Oh, 7 dBs actually. So good. Then onto some character. I use the Slate Virtual Tape Machine for this. Very nice plugin. It just gives it a nice analog kind of smoothness at the top end. It does lift the top end a bit, which gives like a good hissy sound, and then it rolls it off. And I use it at 30 IPS. It's really nice if you use this on high-end material. If you want to use it on bass or a kick drum, 15 IPS has a nice little bump, which works really well for it. And then we're onto the virtual mix rack by Slate. So I just disable all of these first. And basically, I start with this virtual channel. It's the SSL 4KE channel. And it just adds a bit more warmth. Very subtle. And then I use the SSL EQ, firstly to remove some lows here. And then I'm cutting around about 2K. And then I'm also cutting at 3K. Well, what is this? This is probably 1K, yeah. Cutting some of the 1K because I actually like my synths to occupy that frequency a bit more. So if I boost my synths there, I'll cut the vocal there. It's work in tandem. And then a little boost at the high end, which is 7K there, 7.5. And then the last de-esser. This is such a good de-esser. Yeah, I can't praise it enough. So easy to use as well. Basically, you just have it there. You can put it in listen mode. Yeah, there you can hear what it does. That's what last bit annoying is this. And then this is a really cool trick that's been used forever by so many producers. And I think it was originally done with a 76 compressor. It's got a really, really fast attack and a quick release as well. So basically, this is just going to take care of those peaks and squash it down by 1 dB. And then that feeds into an LA2A, which smoothens the vocal out. If you didn't put a 76 or 116 in this case first, the LA2A will react to that initial peak. So it'll actually, the sound will go up and down and sound terrible. But doing this gives you a nice, smooth, very smooth professional vocal. Okay, now from here, you can see the sends is going all over. Basically, this is just going into a reverb, well, into 2 reverbs and a delay. And then those reverbs and delays are being sidechained to this vocal, so that basically the vocal is up front, and then when there's gaps, the reverb and delay comes up just to give it more space and to keep the vocal up front. So I'll show you how I do this. Okay, so this is the send channels. And first up, it's the first reverb, which is the Lexicon Concert Hall, a preset that I made. It's such a lush reverb. And as you can see, it's got, it's a big reverb song. But yeah, it sounds really nice. And I'll only add like 20% or so to a vocal, but really nice. And I EQ it. So basically, I don't want very high end or the very low end. In this case, I do, basically reverb takes that mid-range, high mid-range kind of space in my tracks. So yeah, I EQ it accordingly. And then this is where I use the sidechain. Okay, so firstly you activate the sidechain and you route it to the actual vocal. This is showing the others as well, chorus, etc., because I separated that specific part. But yeah, basically you just want the dry vocal as the sidechain input. Very fast attack, full ratio. The release can be slower. You'll have to play around with that to, it depends on the BPM of your track to actually get the effect that you want. But I'll show you now. Okay, so I'm going to play it without sidechaining. And then I'll play it afterwards with it. So this is without.
Dim is the light, It's fading more and more.
So yeah, you can hear the delay and the reverbs is playing what over the vocal basically. That's not what you want. I disable it, so just listen to that again.
Dim is the light, it's fading more and more.
So yeah, a bit too much. So when I engage the sidechain, this is what it does.
Dim is the light, it's fading more and more.
See, so it basically dips all the effects. So it gives a space for that vocal, and it sounds so much better and so much more professional. You can hear all the words, and that's exactly what you want. So take the time to do this with your vocals. You can do this on other instruments as well, play around with it. But I absolutely love doing this on vocals. Like I said, it gives it its own space, and it still has that ethereal kind of trance loveliness to it. Then there's another reverb. It's this one, it's all acoustic. And yeah, it's basically another long reverb, 8.4 seconds. And yeah, just rolling off some of those highs, and it's got some modulation. On this reverb, it also has the EQ, but those frequencies, and only have a reverb in that section. And same with the sidechain. Then Echo Boy, just a quarter delay with a high feedback. Okay, so I'm just going to play it. It's really nice, and that FX just comes up in the spaces. Okay, and then finally, this is what I do for the vocals to really sit nicely and professionally into the track. And the way I do it is I route all my channels for kick and the bass goes to one channel, and all the music stuff and percussion, synths, etc. goes to another channel, and the vocals to its own channel. So you just want to do this smoothly. So I use Track Spacer for this. My Waves Factory is really cool. Yeah, you sidechain it, assign it to vocal channels. And what it's going to do is well, it's going to reduct to the vocal frequencies. So playing it. So there you can see the music is ducking while the vocal is playing, but you can't really hear it. Like it's not as obvious, but it helps so much to give the vocal the focus. So let me show you. If I exaggerate this, then the music almost goes away.
The walls down to the floor. Move to the sound of the melody in the distance.
See, it just sounds weird. So by taking it down to about 40 minutes, so you don't have that pumping effect. So basically also what I do is here you can set which frequencies it's doing to. So you don't need to have it on the low frequencies. It's basically just for high mids and the highs that you want to duck. And yeah, just do it subtly, and that makes it sit very nicely into the track. Okay, so that's my vocal process in a nutshell. As you can see, it does take a bit of work, especially with the manual parts of like the volume control and everything, but it's really worth the effort to get that lovely final result. And again, I have to reiterate that obviously I got good source material from Tanya. It really does help. And Obviously, I know everybody isn't that lucky, but still, I mean, you can apply this concept to just about any vocal, and it'll really elevate the vocal in your track. Also, the thing, like working with a good vocalist, is they work with a lot of other producers. So do actually take in mind what they say and take some feedback on board. I love working with Tanya because we send ideas back and forwards, and I tell her that, you know, if she wants to have anything change, or if she doesn't like anything, to actually let me know, because I will have a listen to it and see what I can do about it, because so many producers have ego issues and they basically just, I mean, they do the track and they don't care about what the vocalist thinks. I don't know, it's just like the vocal is secondary after they did the instrumental. Just take care and do it properly, enjoy it, and actually listen to a vocalist. Kind of know what they're doing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. I hope to do some more videos in the future if I get some more time. But feel free to ask me if you want to see anything specific or want me to explain certain things. I can even like jump up and do like maybe a quick session on like a live stream or something. But yeah, let me know, and I hope you enjoyed this and learned from it. Until next time, bye.